It's not a problem for me. I can, make up crap. Knock about the dogs, my cats that like to eat lamps, chewing electrical cords. Yeah.
Yeah, your cats eat lamp. Oh, the electrical cords?
Yeah.
Not the actual, lampshade, I hope.
Oh, no, they're going after the lamps, too.
Okay, awesome. Mm-hmm. Our cat has a thing for the, how Mac computers have the magnet, which I think is a brilliant, genius feature, the magnetic attachment for your plug. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when Carl gets charged up, he likes to go walk around with his laptop or whatever. And so he leaves it plugged in the wall. The cat will not leave the thing. And I'm like, listen to me, you little feline bugger. If you wreck that or bite it, those things are expensive to replace.
I know.
It's his favorite.
I've seen chew marks on some of my charging cords too. And I'm like, okay, these have to be kept wadded up and not dangling.
Yeah. What's fun about that?
I don't know. I am not a feline.
I know. I mean, it's like cats have, whatever. I don't know. Cats crack me up. And ours, if you're going to have a cat, I mean, I think we've got I call him the best ever cat ambassador because he's most people even that don't like cats like ours, but some of their proclivities.
I know. We have toddler kitties and I just they like to eat lamps.
Do you think that you're going to have Christmas trees this coming year?
No.
Really?
No, not yet. Not yet. Maybe Christmas tree.
One. Okay.
Because I put up 5.
Okay. So, and in addition to talking about sex, we love our cats here at the Great Northern Sex Cast. Hey, Colleen.
Good morning, Kelly.
We've had an interesting technical start, but what's new, right?
No, yeah. I mean, I see the little white lines in the black line in the red thing on the black background, so it must be doing something good right now.
Absolutely. So what's going on around? I know last week we did a delayed show because you guys were redoing the St. Louis Park store, and that came out brilliantly.
Oh, it is just beautiful. The painting's finished now, so now we just have a few. When I go into a store, I don't think the store employees and the managers really like it because I always say, "Well, we need to tear apart the front counter now, and we need a whole bunch of new signage and." And why we should do the list gets a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But we should be done. Like I said, the painting's done, and that's the big thing. So now we can put the signs back up and do all this stuff. But it just turned out so beautiful, and the folks that have been in the stores have really commented on it.
Have they?
And like I said, I mean, not only did it get re-slat walled, repainted, it got cleaned. So I mean, it's just fresh, and it's just really, really nice. And I'm just very excited about it. Yeah,
there's a type of cleaning when you dismantle things that you just can't match. Yeah. That kind of thing.
Yeah, because when everything's off the walls, you can see the stuff in the corner. Like, okay, gotta clean that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't pretend it's not there.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything else going on around the cluster of stores?
We're going to be re-merchandising a little bit at the Coon Rapids store because the fitting room that I had in Minneapolis, I sent out to that store because it's, big and they got a big store out there. Well, here's the deal. We opened the store 6 years ago. 6 years ago, right around the time we were doing all this stuff, I broke my ankle, and I was at home for 5-6. Actually, my mother's home for like 5 weeks on OxyContin the whole time. So I did the majority of the stuff over phones and on the internet and pictures and stuff like that. I wasn't able to get down to the space.
Because it was such a severe break.
Yeah,
you were not ambulatory, right?
No weight bearing, a whole bunch of metal and all that sort of stuff. I said, okay, let's move this, the fitting room there. And everyone's always looking at me like I said, it'll work. Well, here's the little detail that my obviously drug-addled brain 6 years ago, and then all the, times, I just never looked again. The door was not where I thought the door was.
Oh, God.
So we didn't, it's this massive thing, and I put it there, and it just didn't work. So now I've got to get the entire crew out there on Thursday, and we've got to move this 4 zillion pound thing about 4 feet back and about 10 feet over and get it in the right spot and rearrange a bunch of stuff. So, but finally, when someone snapped a picture of it, I went, oh.
Right.
Oh, no wonder they were looking at me like I had 2 heads because I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Right.
It was hilarious. I mean, and obviously very frustrating to the like, she's like, it's going to fit, but I thought the door was on the end and it's on the side. Fixtures can be complicated. Little technical difficulty there, but it's all going to work out. I'm going to get a couple new things, and nowhere to put it. And Megan crawled into my brain, and she was one step ahead of me on a good place to put it and all this sort of stuff. So it worked out well.
Perfect. You know, we're going to jump ahead to one of the stories because there's pain meds that can wreck a male's sex life. So we'll talk about that. But just because you mentioned OxyContin, and man, has that opioids have been so crazy in the news. I swear to God, you know, and I had a really bad experience with pain medication when I was like a senior in high school. I got really sick and I needed to have pain meds for something that was going on. And they made me so violently ill that you have to like twist my arm even to take ibuprofen because I'm terrified of this stuff. So, but it seems like if you turn on the television or whatever, and I am not making light of this, I know it's very, very serious. You know, everybody that takes the stuff gets addicted. Did you have any problem with it? No,
I absolutely hated it.
How did you escape it?
I hated the feeling of it.
Okay.
Some people might like it, and I can see why they do. And the point of it is I always say take it to prevent pain versus to get rid of pain. So I can understand how you can get addicted to it. But I couldn't even read a newspaper. I felt too stupid on it. But that's how it felt to me. And it was not a pleasant feeling for me. Whereas I think other people it might be. Because they, then they didn't care about things, and it didn't work for me. And I wanted to get the hell off of it as fast as possible. Plus the fact that they stop you up, and I prefer pooping on a regular basis. I mean, there are commercials during NCIS now about opioid-induced constipation.
Movantic,
the
guy in the construction
site.
And
I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh, I know.
I mean, this is a thing.
It's a thing.
But mind you, I've been telling people for years when they're on Vicodin. I mean, now we're all old enough, but I've had issues. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries and a bunch of other stuff that I had Vicodin for, and I just had to stop taking it. I can't. I hate it. I hate feeling dumb. I hate the way that it doesn't, for me, it doesn't really do that much more than a big handful of ibuprofen can do. So it does not work for me. I would make a very bad, that and the fact that I chuck some of it up. But
see, that's my issue. Yeah.
I would make a very bad addict that way. I'm sure there are things out there I could get addicted to, but it's not, it's not my thing.
No, it
doesn't work for me.
It's amazing. My boyfriend, Carl, over the past 8 years we've been together, we had some pretty serious dental work done one time. And then another time, I can't remember what the other, when he broke his arm chasing a thief, he was given, opioid pain meds, and he never actually took them all, but we've got them, kind of sitting around. And I'm like, can I just throw these out?
No, what you want to do is just search where it goes, like, okay, the library off of York Avenue, Southdale Library. Okay. If you go upstairs, get off the elevator and go to your right, I think it's green. Just put everything in a bag.
They've got a dispensary.
Take it around. They'll open it up. You can put it in there, and you can get rid of all the medications you don't want. I've done that a couple times because I end up with. Sometimes I do have to take it, but I rarely need the whole amount, and they just give you way too much.
Oh yeah.
And so I've done this, and I really go through that. But I'm sure that there were other places other than. I live in the Southwest Burbs, so that's where I drop things off. There's got to be other places. I saw one the other day, and I thought it was so interesting because when my mother passed away a bit over a year ago, you want to talk about insane pain meds that we had for her because she was passing of lung cancer. I had fentanyl patches. And a lot of it. And I called the hospice to say, can I bring this in? They're like, nope. They had me put it in bags with cat litter. And, it was this crazy thing, but if I could have just gone and dumped it. Yeah, because if you burn it or if you flush it, it can go into the air, it can go into the water and stuff like that. So they've got another way of disposing of this stuff that keeps it out of the water supply and all that.
Yep.
So I've discovered, like I said, if you have anything that's outdated, eventually somebody does something in their bathroom in which, there's a leak or you decide to clean or paint or do something and you're going through your stuff. You're like, what the hell am I going to do with
this?
Why
do I have 7-year-old blah, blah, blah?
Yeah. Bag it up, bring it over, and there are more than, that's not the only place in town you can find that.
For sure.
There's your PSA for today.
Well, there you go. And let's run through these common prescriptions that can lead to decreased action in the boudoir. A little warning for our male listeners. So antidepressants, they're talking about that. And this has been spoken of for many, many years. The most common ones, Prozac, Paxil, Zoloft, and Lexapro. But there was actually a huge British study in 2013 saying that in addition to just overall, what's the word I want? Apathy, which, that people complain about with that stuff, it can really have a severe attack on your libido. And so they said you might want to look into, if you have found that to be the case, Wellbutrin and Zyban are the ones that are not supposed to do that.
Yeah, and you have to be, and you have to bring the stuff up to your doctor.
Right.
I mean, honestly, if someone I knew was on this, I would prefer the live person with a little apathy than, if there wasn't enough sex versus not being on the meds.
Right.
I mean, I want the human being there.
Yep. Yeah.
And the side effects. But the thing is that, and stuff, and they make different medications all the time. These are pretty, pretty life altering side effects. And I'm sure they'll, things will get better as time goes on. And you said there's two options right there, which is good. But
for sure.
Like I said, I will take the apathy about sex over someone not being there at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and next up, the things that can back you up, the opioids, they can also keep you from getting it up. So they said to try to see if you can, take as little as possible of painkillers, which is probably a good policy for anyone, anytime at that point. Blood pressure meds can also have an effect, guys.
Yep.
Well, and this one, sleeping pills. Well, if you're not awake, I suppose you can't have sex, right?
Yeah, that one files under duh. And the blood pressure medication, yes, that can have a very large issue on being able to maintain an erection.
And the last one,
and then, just being diabetic in general, a whole bunch of other things. So you can talk to your physician about this, and there are ways to work around this stuff.
Absolutely. Well, the last one on the list is marijuana. I think we all kind of knew that a little bit. So, moving on. I got very tickled. We have found, and I think what could be possibly the Great Northern Sexcast's new favorite columnist.
Okay.
Her name is Ellen Scott, and she's British. Okay. And I found 3 of her pieces that are just. She's hysterical. So we have links for these. So
now where does she,
The Mirror.
The Mirror, okay.
Okay. So. Yeah, that's where I find her. And I love the way she writes, but I also love her take, she's just snarky and hysterical. So the first one, she tackles the question, is it ever okay to ask someone you're having sex with to change their pubic hair? That's the headline. And I'm like, I don't think we've talked about pubic hair, but we've never talked about the idea of jumping in. So she said she found out that 40% of men have asked their partners to change in that area. And she said she went completely outraged. How dare they tell a woman what to do with their, body, blah, 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 blah. And then she said, I finally sat down and realized, well, wait a minute. We never get upset when they say, hey, I like this better than that, or I want this, or could we do that? Whatever. So she starts putting it further into perspective.
In other words, well, you can ask. And right. you have to think about why it's asked, how it's asked, when it's asked, whether it makes sense for you. I'm assuming she gets into all of this, because you can do the same thing. Is it do you want to ask if you have a male partner whether or not they want to do a little extra
manscaping?
For the most part, women do a little womenscaping. So if they're wearing a swimsuit, it's not just full bush around the edge. Some people don't have to worry about that. Some do. Going in to do, grooming for this. You call in now and you say you want a bikini wax. There's like 40,000 different categories, and you have to say, no, it's not all coming off, or yes, it is. Or, there's a lot of different things there. And if the woman's making the decision for herself, I suppose she could, involve her partner in that. What are you, because she may or may not have, she might be taking it all off and the other person doesn't like it, or maybe a little bit or less. Why not? Same thing with hair color, or, do these jeans make my butt look big?
See, that's kind of where she went with it.
Or do you like me in a sports coat or more of a full suit if we're going to go do something? It's, should I dye the hair gray? Dye the gray hair? I suppose it all just sort of, that sort of stuff just sort of lumps in there.
It does. And, I kind of think like so many things, like everybody can, I'm starting, and maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. Well, I know I'm getting old, but, that's a fact. But, they talk about fashion trends now, and it's like, I don't know about you, but for the last several years, I feel like it's been anything goes.
Oh,
many years.
Honestly, my mom sometimes asks, "How do you do this?" I said, "Do you like it? Do you feel good in it? Then you can do it." Whether you want to wear a long skirt or a short skirt, or whether just honestly, wear it. Although I have to admit, the clear plastic jeans and the jeans with already mud on them. Did you see that
Oh,
thing?
preposterous.
From the knee stuff. Yeah. I mean, I swear, to me, that's just the biggest marketing scheme from Nordstrom's. They're not actually selling this shit. They just want people to talk about
Nordstrom. Because who would really wear that?
I mean,
because I saw somebody on TV say, okay, if that person shows up at your house, do you want him sitting on your couch if you don't know?
well, it's not. I mean, but it's.
I know.
Yeah, but even so, but you don't. You might think it's. Yeah, I know, it's just very
right.
strange.
And it's like, oh no, it's fake med. Then it's like, you're an idiot. Why do I want you at my dinner party?
Well, there is.